without further ado, let's bring him in from Jim Crockett Promotions' very own, maybe arguably the greatest tag team wrestler of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, one half of the Rock and Roll Express, your friend and mine, Hall of Famer, Mr. Ricky Morton. Ricky, welcome to the show, man.
Guys, thank you very much for having me on here, Rick.
Okay.
Yes. Hey, hi, buddy. How you doing? Hey, before we get this started, guys, it's something I want to say. I was fortunate in this business to work for Jim Crockett Promotion, and I was fortunate enough to get my PhD from the world heavyweight champion, Ric Flair. I got to say,
in partying or wrestling?
Hey, in both, and I could talk about that, but I won't. But no, I wanted, before we get our fun out and laughing and
you can tell the stories
and having a good time.
Everything goes with me, man. I won't tell anybody about you, but you can tell about me. It just,
me too.
It just
No,
adds,
you can say
it just adds to the legend.
Hey, I'm not ashamed of nothing I done, Bo. Okay, but I just want to say
I can't say that.
Okay, but just to get to you and finish what I was saying, you're the greatest world champion there is or ever will be. The greatest worker. Nobody can imagine the things that I watched being in the ring with you, what you've done and how to tell the story and how to change this direction, then go back to another direction that when you try to teach us, the guys these days have no damn clue what you're talking about, don't understand our business. But Rick, you're the best, and let me get that out of the way, and then we can start.
Right.
And then we can browbeat.
That's a wrap, Conrad.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Hey, then we can start browbeating the shit out of each other. All right. Good.
So, Rick, how familiar were you with Ricky Morton before he joined Jim Crockett Promotions in 1985?
Well, the funny thing is, Ricky, there's so much more to Ricky Morton and rock and roll and midnight between us as how we all met and all that. I was the traveling world champion, and Watts brought me in. And I had never met Ricky till I saw him in Mid-South along with Corny and Robert and Bobby Eaton, God rest his soul, and Dennis. So I came back, I was kind of like, I was like a recruiting around the country for Jimmy. And I came back and said, that Rock and Roll Express, man, is unbelievable. I mean, Ricky was, like I said, I put Ricky in a class of being one of the 10 greatest bay faces. And if you look at, I'm looking at my career, which it'll be 50 years in September. I can remember so few that were really great. Ricky was one of them. Of course, Robert right there behind him. But Ricky, of course, had a lot more singles competitions than Robert did, which is it just worked out that way, especially with me. So it's a whole different world. Tag team wrestling is one thing. I was an average at best tag team wrestler, but I was much better as a single. And when the opportunity came around to work with Ricky, I can't remember how exactly it happened. It just was magic. I mean, we didn't do much at all to set it up. And then we got kind of serious when he stomped my sunglasses and the Horsemen collectively. We beat him up in the dressing room of Greensboro and messed up, broke his nose and smashed it. And then, and we were off and running. I mean, it's one of those angles. Here's how it went. The first time every building in the Mid-Atlantic area sold out, the first time was me and Mulligan. The second time every building in Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling sold out, it was Steamboat. The third time, it was Ricky Morton. I mean, every arena, from Roanoke to Savannah, clean. First time was Mulligan, second time Steamboat, third time Ricky Morton. We went clean everywhere. From Charleston, West Virginia, Philadelphia, name it. Baltimore, clean. And that's saying a lot because I back then, I can remember I'd be working with Wahoo and that, and we did good. And I wasn't nearly as good at my craft than when I was with Wahoo. But the first time we did an angle with Jack Mulligan, we actually sold out every arena. We got to Roanoke and said, like we did it. You know, Ricky will tell you too. Roanoke was a good town, but to sell that sucker out was hard. And we did it, I think, consecutive times. And then, of course, other than Harley Race and Jack Briscoe, or maybe Jack and Dory, I don't remember anybody in the history of the business wrestling 18 consecutive hour Broadways like Ricky and I did in that 2-week span. And that's only to have maybe 2 days off and right back into. We did every building in the territory. We did an hour. And if we didn't, and then with second time we'd come back into 45 minutes. The third time it'd be the cage, and I'd be the blowout. But we were rocking. We sold them all out, and it was just phenomenal. And we had so damn much fun doing it. Never talked to each other. I got to know his style. I watched him a lot, you know, in his tag matches, and those guys just had that magic and that charisma about them that is really unique and really hard to find in the business today. Arn and Tully had it. The Midnight Express had it. FTR has got that magic. The Usos have got it. I mean, I'm not leaving anybody out, but I mean, it's being that familiar with your partner, knowing where he is at all times, thinking team rather than individual, which was a problem for me because I didn't do it that well. And then, of course, understanding that by making your opponent is either a heel or a babyface, you make yourself. That's a lost art.